Hi, today, all day, we've got a great show for you on this Thursday morning, including an all-day exclusive chat you can only see here. Let's kick it off with Pop Start. We check in with Chanel, who's covering all the buzzy headlines for Carson. Check it out.
We got Chanel and official Pop Start correspondent here and ready to rock.
Oh, it's the best time of the day. What was it again?
Oh, my God.
Thursday. Oh, Pop Start.
Well, guess what?
What?
I'm not alone today because we have Jenna, today's special guest Pop Start correspondent.
I've never been that.
Yes, you spent time with your mom yesterday, and she chatted about the new baby in the family.
I know, it's kind of hilarious when you talk to your mom about her own grandchild, but it was lovely. My mom and I got to talk about her visiting her newest grandbaby, my sister Barbara's beautiful Cora, Georgia, born last week in Maine, not far from our family home there, and the shore where her mom and dad got married. This is their anniversary today.
Oh, wow.
Mom, you're a new grandma.
I know it, exactly. Daddy and I just had a wonderful weekend in Maine with our baby.
My sister Barbara's beautiful daughter was born on September 27th, my parents' fourth grandchild and my first beloved niece. Named after her grandfather and great-grandfather, Cora Georgia Coyne arrived a bit early, but right on time for our family, who adores her.
The baby who was supposed to be born in New York was born instead in Portland, Maine, and we're thrilled with that darling little baby, and I know Barbara and Craig are too.
I heard you got to the hospital to hold the baby and kind of...
Yes, I went every day to hold the baby in the hospital.
And
so we're looking forward to the baby being able to get out of the intensive care nursery pretty soon, I hope.
how did Dad feel about the fact that he finally got somebody named after him?
It was really great. Cora, Georgia.
Yeah.
She'll have to be his favorite.
No. What about my children? Don't tell him that. He liked the namesake, of course.
Of course.
Cora's three cousins, Mila, Poppy, and Hal, can't wait to meet her. During Grandma and Grandpa's visit, my mom read a special book to sweet Cora, Georgia, who's growing stronger each day.
And she was, of course, very fascinated with it. I don't know that she opened her eyes, but it's a little tiny premature baby, but she's
But
doing
you know
great.
what? We were premature babies,
That's
and
right.
look at us now.
Exactly. Yeah. He made up for that small size.
Mom, I'm not going to find that offensive.
Mom's just like, oh, wow.
I guess I made up for that small size.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad now.
Do you know how much therapy that's going to cost in that moment?
Luckily, at the age of 40, I know the opposite of small is big, but I'm not going to take that. This was not my story.
Your mom didn't mean it like that.
No, I'm sure she didn't. Anyway, it's so sweet. Yeah, and she got to read a little book called The Night You Were Born, which is the sweetest Nancy Tillman book, which I recommend to all grandparents read to their grandparents.
Cora, Georgia is such a beautiful
My
name.
dad goes, Cora George. Cora George.
I love it. Well, thank you, Jenna.
I loved being here.
Okay, well, you sit right here, because next up we're going to talk about Blake Shelton. The country singer stopped by Late Night with Seth Meyers on Wednesday and revealed what it was like to have our own Carson Daly officiate his wedding with Gwen Stefani. Blake never missing a chance to poke fun at his best bud.
Did you think 20 years ago the host of TRL would be the guy helping you tie the knot?
Man, I tell you what, the way he handled those wet T-shirt contests back in the day when he was hosting those spring break specials, we knew he had to be the guy for us.
Because those things
I love it. Blake also opening up on that special song he wrote and performed at the ceremony as his vows to Gwen. Take a look.
You wrote a song for your wedding. Did you feel the same pressure to actually do a song up to your standard?
It was Carson's idea that we should write our own, vows or whatever, have this piece to say before we say I do. And Gwen is always...
By the way, that song Blake wrote for Gwen, We Can Reach the Stars, will be one of the new tracks featured on his next album, and it was all thanks to Carson.
Are you okay? Are you okay? No, honestly, I just am seeing your face, and I want to make sure you're okay.
Which phase of the stages of grief are you? Denial, bargaining.
You realize it's over.
Is bargaining one of them?
Bargaining is one of the stages.
No, please. Okay, finally.
Whatever.
And finally, speaking of music power couples, Tim Mcgraw and Faith Hill to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary. Yesterday, Tim took to Instagram sharing the sweet story of how he proposed to Faith all those years ago. The country superstar revealing he actually had to make multiple proposals before he finally got Faith to say yes. Listen to this.
I actually asked her to marry me quite a few times. Like, she kept saying no. We were somewhere playing this big outdoor festival, and they had these trailer houses set up. I'm getting ready to go on stage, and I had this sort of case that had this big mirror in it. She's standing there, and we're talking, and I said, look, let's get married. She goes, are you serious? I said, well, yeah, I'm serious. And then I came off the stage and went back into my dressing room, and Faith wasn't there, but I looked at the mirror. In lipstick, it said, yes, I'm going to be your wife.
Sweet. And listen to this. Tim goes on to say that after all these years, they still have that mirror with the message.
Wait, what?
Good night, everybody. Good night. And of course, the couple now feel like I'm reading a storybook. 3 beautiful daughters, Gracie, Maggie, and Audrey. And the rest is history.
Oh, so sweet.
Isn't that sweet? Beautiful. That's even better than on the night you were born.
Yes.
Beautiful story. You all right? Yeah, okay.
Coming up next on Today Talks, the gang sits down with a familiar face from the Marvel Universe. After this. Welcome back. Today in the third hour, Evangeline Lilly shares what it's like to work alongside Jason Sudeikis. Check it out.
This morning, we're catching up with an actor who's been in her share of iconic franchises. Of course, we remember Evangeline Lilly playing Kate Austen in the critically acclaimed series Lost, and more recently, a buzz in the Marvel Universe with her portrayal of the Wasp.
Well, now she's taking on a much different role in the film South of Heaven. Evangeline stars alongside Jason Sudeikis, whose character just got out of prison. She plays his fiancé, who doctors gave 1 year left to live because of a lung cancer diagnosis. Take a look.
Help me pick a death song.
Okay, you know what? I think you've had too much of this stuff.
I think you haven't had enough.
Oh, I'm good.
I think it should be sad, but also funny. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe like the Beach Boys, Good Vibrations. No, I know. God only knows.
Oh, you're killing me. Come on.
The acting is so good, isn't it? We just saw Good Morning to You.
Good morning.
Congratulations on this role. It's phenomenal. I was just saying, we just saw a glimpse of your character, Annie. And our producers tell us that you say that of all the characters you've played, that she resembles you the most. How is that?
Annie is really lighthearted. She's always laughing and being sort of silly, and she smiles a lot. And the characters I tend to play usually are very serious, and they tend to be very tough. And I think, I'm much more lighthearted than a lot of the characters I often play.
How, Evangeline, how would you describe this movie? Because it's very intense, and yet there's a hopefulness about it.
Yes, that clip is beautifully deceiving in that it portrays the sweet and sensitive romance between Jimmy Ray and Annie, which is my favorite part of the film. But there is also a darker side to the film, and it is a genre film, so there are gory moments, there are violent moments. But the thing that I was the most excited about taking this role on was knowing that Aaron Cashellis was going to be at the helm of it. And as a director, I think he's an expert at dealing with violence and darkness in a way that's also somehow sensitive and tender. So it's a romance and a thriller, and definitely not for the faint of heart.
That's fair to say. So in this film, South of Heaven, it was the last project you worked on before the pandemic. So a long time coming in some ways. How does it feel now knowing, it's finally going to be released in theaters?
It feels refreshing. It feels really good. It feels like a little bit of a return to normalcy. The fact that it's even getting a theatrical release is really exciting. I don't know if I ever knew that it was going to come out in theaters. It was always a really small indie. It was a little passion project that we all did quietly in Dallas. And so the fact that it's one of the early films to come out in theaters post-pandemic is it feels really refreshing. It feels like a breath of fresh air, like something new, a new season for everybody, hopefully.
And yet you get to go back to a character you visited before. You're right now working on the Wasp, the next installment for Marvel. Is that it looks like it is an incredibly physical role. How do you get back in shape for that or get ready for something like this?
Well, each film has been different. For me, coming into this film, I was coming out of a lot of physical illness and injury, and I've been doing a lot of rehab, really, a lot more than any kind of training for a six-pack or biceps. I've been just making sure that structurally I'm in a place where I can do the movie and not come out of it injured, or that I can make it through to the end.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at this video now. The thing around your neck, it's a lot happening. Your Instagram page is really fun, by the way. If people don't follow you, they should. Evangeline, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for talking with us this morning.
So great having you.
It's such a pleasure always. Thank you guys for having me.
Coming up on Hoda and Jenna, try to curb your enthusiasm. We'll be joined by one of the show's most iconic stars after this. Welcome back today on Hoda and Jenna. Get ready to laugh because the hilarious Susie Essman joins us to dish on all the latest. Check it out. So we're in robes again, which is sort of how we like to spend some of our days. And that's because it's Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Tuesday, Thursday, you're right. And it's time for us to reveal the outfits. Remember, the Rent the Runway people selected different ones. So this is just a reminder. Mine were the ones with the cheetah pants and the purple and that plaid two-piece item.
Mine was that skirt and top, that red look.
Which would you have chosen of all
I would have chose A. I still hope to wear A.
Well,
on
maybe
Monday.
you're wearing A.
And I hope you wear A one day.
Okay, but let's see. Let's have a drum roll, please. 1, 2, 3.
Wow! Flatty. You look cute.
You look adorable.
Is my zipper up?
Okay, this is really weird. First of all, it's messing with the camera. I like it.
It really is.
Oh, yeah. Plaids are funny on air. They always tell you.
Is mine messing with the camera?
You're just you're fancy.
Okay. I've always wanted to match the logo.
All right. So, Jenna, you were on assignment yesterday.
Yes.
You've been doing a lot of shooting. And yesterday, in addition to a shoot you're going to tell us about later, which is very meaningful and poignant, there was also a joyful shoot that you got to take part in.
I did. I
Your
got to talk
mama
with my mom, which is always kind of hilarious. You know when you've talked with your mom about certain things for the show, you're like, we just spoke on the phone.
Right. And
but here we are recreating it. I
Uh-huh.
talked to her about the fact that she and my dad have just become grandparents again to my sister Barbara's newest babe, or only babe, Cora Georgia. And here's what my mom had to say.
Yes, I went every day to hold the baby in the hospital. And so we're looking forward to the baby being able to get out of the intensive care nursery pretty soon, I hope.
How did Dad feel about the fact that he finally got somebody named after him?
It was really great. Cora Georgia.
Yeah.
She'll have to be his favorite.
No. What about my children? Don't tell him that. He liked the namesake, of course.
She didn't say no. He wasn't the favorite. She left it hanging.
I was like, wait, I've had years of parenting these 3 children who are and that's it?
By the way, how beautiful is it? How's the baby doing?
The baby's doing great.
Good,
the baby's doing good, and it's so fun to watch Barbara become a mom, and it's just, by the way, when you see a baby swaddled, don't you just want to be swaddled?
It's so cozy.
Is that weird?
It's so cozy.
To see that little baby swaddled up. Anyway, everything's good. Okay, you've been busy too.
Last night, so Derek Jeter does this event every year. He's got a foundation called the Turn 2 Foundation. They raise money and they support children in high school and college, and they help them kind of get on their way. And they call them Jeter's Leaders. Well, it helps them stay away from drugs, alcohol, have healthy lifestyles. So this was a beautiful event last night. There were a ton of kids. There were a lot of celebs there, but really it was about the kids who were at the event. And it was amazing. I mean, I was there, but let's everybody else. But
there's
Derek and his sister Charlie, and they are incredible human beings. And I have to say, he's done it for 25 years. So that's how long that organization has been in existence. He's a new Hall of Famer. And
I love him. You also posted a letter that he wrote to his
my
12-year-old self.
Oh, this was so beautiful.
Will you read some of this?
Here's a little bit of it, but it said, this is what Derek wrote to his 12-year-old self. You even stood up in front of your 4th grade class on career day and said, when I grow up, I want to play shortstop for the New York Yankees. Somehow, some way, that dream will actually come true. But that's not what I want to talk to you about. In a lot of ways, that's the easy part. That's the fairy tale. That's the version that everyone always wants to hear about. What people don't want to hear about, what you probably don't even want to hear about, is failure. And he talks about, throughout this, all the times he failed, how he thought when he was playing in the minors, he was humiliated. He called his family and said, "Can I just come home?" And they said, "Do not quit." He also said that he watched his dad play shortstop in a softball game, a corporate softball game when he was a kid, and said, "That's what I want to do." And so his dad got to see him play and still sees him to this day, and said last night he's never been prouder of his son. It was so beautiful.
Like his work off the field is even more remarkable.
Yes.
How cool is
He's
that?
amazing. There is nothing that can make us happier right now than to tell you that Curb Your Enthusiasm is back.
You know what makes me so happy is that music.
Go,
Okay, for the
Meredith.
past 10 seasons, the cringeworthy comedy, and we mean that in the best way possible, has made fans laugh out loud in their living rooms, especially when the show's creator and star Larry David is taken to task by foul-mouthed fan favorite Susie Green, played by comedian and actress Susie Essman.
See, season 11 premieres later this month, and Susie's back with her trademark wacky wardrobe and rants to remember. Take a look.
Make a toast to friendship.
Susie.
Yes, to friendship.
To friendship and to be with everyone. Eyes, please.
Cassie, Harry.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Larry, you can't look me in the eye and toast?
Look you in the eye?
Yeah.
Towards what end?
Because that's what people do.
Get
They
outta
look each
here.
other in the eye.
What is this, a seance? We're raising people from the dead? Come on, give me a break.
No, we're connecting and having some intimacy.
I don't need to connect, okay? I'm connected.
What are you afraid of?
What does it do?
You're saying, hello, I see you, I acknowledge you, I connect with you.
We love this show.
Oh my God, was that scripted?
No.
You just did your thing?
No, well, here's in that scene, there's a lot that goes on after this in the dinner party. But in that scene, I believe what it said in the outline was Susie does a toast, and Larry doesn't look her in the eye, and she takes him to task. And that's all it said.
That's it?
Yes,
The
that's it.
intimacy. Where's
That all comes. That's the fun of it. We do it all in the moment. We just make it up.
I mean,
Okay,
the
I am
improv
crying. That's brilliant.
is
That is so
good.
fun.
And by the way, in that little dinner party, we saw a familiar face. Was that Vince Vaughn that just popped
Vince
in?
Vaughn. Well, Vince Vaughn was on last season. He's playing Freddie Funkhauser. Richard Kind was in there. Patton Oswalt, and you see Cheryl's back. And
Can we reveal the guest list?
We always want to know who
we have amazing guest
Pull out
stars.
your phone. Who do you got?
Yeah,
Okay, we have.
There's some names.
Tracy Ullman is so amazing. She's in the
Okay.
second half of the season. She is so amazing. John Hamm, handsomest man in America.
Were you kind of embarrassed in front of him or no?
Who can even look him in the eye? He's so
You should
handsome.
do a scene with him where you have to take him to task, looking you in the eye.
Well, that was last season, but he's so handsome.
Who else?
And he's so nice. Woody Harrelson, Bill Hader. Bill Hader is so funny.
Oh my gosh.
They're all funny. Ted Danson is back. Who else?
Lucy Liu.
Liu, Julie Bowen. I'm
Patton
going to
Oswalt.
forget people. I can't
Woody
see that.
Harrelson.
Richard
Look at
Lewis.
him. No.
Thankfully, Richard had some surgeries, and luckily he was able to do one episode, so we were so happy to have him back. Just great.
Do people, when you guys call up and say, will you be a guest star on, does everybody immediately jump on it?
I assume so. I don't make the
You don't
calls.
know?
But I
Yeah.
will tell you this.
What?
Big stars that I meet at certain places
Wanna
always
be on it.
beg me to.
They beg you.
Yeah, they
What
say,
do you
Can you get me
say?
on the show? I said, I don't have that power.
You
Go
don't
talk to Larry.
You don't call Larry and just say, hey,
I mentioned to
Brad
him.
Pitt wants
Every
to be
now
on
and
the show.
then. Every now
I
and then.
mention it to him,
Who's
but
the biggest star who wanted to be on?
Oh God,
Come on,
I can't fit. I don't know, Hoda. then I'm ranking people. then if I say, you know, Bill Hader, and then Woody Harrelson's going to get upset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Don't
wait.
put me in that position like I'm in 8th grade in a slam book.
Wait, in a slam book.
You don't even know.
I
What
do
do you know what that is?
slam
Because
book
you
is.
watched the show. What's the show that had the slam book?
What?
Clue? No.
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Okay, wait, but
were you in 8th grade? Were you the nice girl or the mean girl?
You know, I was usually the nice girl, but I remember when I turned 13, I had a little mean phase, which I think is normal, but I still feel guilty and bad about it.
What did you do?
I just, you know, who knows what I did. I just was not, you know, not nice maybe to some. Usually I stuck up for the underdog and the scapegoat.
Yeah.
But I remember one summer in camp, I went on the bandwagon when I was 13. And I think it's an age thing. And I still feel horrible about it and would like to find this girl and apologize.
I think
to
you
her.
should. Why not? You're Susie Essman. Okay, but I got to interview Jerry Seinfeld earlier this week, which was so much fun, and I asked him his grievances, just for the fun of it. So, do you have any grievances that you'd like to get after?
You know, I don't. Jerry's a curmudgeon. I'm always the glass half full. I actually, I don't want to say this because 700,000 people died and people had a really hard time.
Yeah.
But there were things about the pandemic that I really liked. Yeah. You know, like when somebody says I have to cancel, whoopee-doo. Nothing makes me happier. I didn't have to shake hands. I didn't have to, I could just stay in my pajamas all day. I didn't have to see people I didn't want to see. I really enjoyed that.
I know. It's actually hilarious that you're like, Jerry's a curmudgeon.
Yeah, I love that. I know.
Well, he is. Jerry's like, that's his whole act.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know what? But when I did go in, I was like, are we hugging now? And you were like, not too close. We can hug, but
a little. Just a little
Don't
hug.
put your mouth close to my mouth.
You guys, season 11 of Curb Your Enthusiasm premieres October 24th on HBO.
Susie Essman. We'll come back.
11 seasons.
11.
How is that possible? Today Talks continues after the break. We have an exclusive chat you can only see here on Today All Day.
Welcome back to Today Talks, our exclusive content that can only be seen here on Today All Day. Jenna raced off because she has a shoot, and we have a goodbye celebration.
Yes, we do.
For Joanne LaMarca, who's our former executive producer of our program. So everyone's going to get together. So Jenna had to jet off so she could jet there. But before she left, Susie Essman was sitting here. You know, there are certain people who you meet them and you expect them to be funny, and it must be annoying for them. It's like, be funny.
Right, they have to be on all the time.
She is just funny. And when I think about Curb Your Enthusiasm, hey.
Anyway, I love these new graphics.
I know, it's pretty cool. But anyway, she's really, really got it. Like, don't you love when you meet someone and they're everything that you hoped for?
Yes, that happened to me. This is really trippy. Also, Hoda, don't you just adore your outfit? I actually do, but seeing it in double.
These were the ones that they were chosen for us.
Anyways,
so you've gotten to meet some pretty cool, wonderful people, but when you meet them in person, do they meet the expectation? It's always weird. You almost don't want to meet someone who you really look up to.
I think it's interesting, too, with comedians because sometimes they can be sort of dark, so they don't always come across as when they're off screen, they don't come across as that ebullient and funny. But
and also, well, think about if you're a comedian, it's like everyone must stop broker and ask what the weather is all the time. And sometimes he's just going grocery shopping or he's late to pick up Nick, you know, and it's sweet because everybody knows him in that context.
You know what I'm thinking of? Yesterday we had a surprise run-in, you and me, and just started bursting laughing.
Oh, we were in the gym. Okay, this was embarrassing.
That happens sometimes, too.
Well, this is weird. So there's an NBC gym, and sometimes I don't like to use it because you have to change clothes.
And you just run into people that you know.
Vulnerable position. You're like, hey, how are graphics? And you want to like pull your shirt up. So I was in the middle of getting dressed. There's nobody up there. I was like taking my time because it's like you feel like you're in your own house. And I literally just put on my shirt. I was about to put on my pants and I turn around and I see Donna, and Donna looks at me like she walked into my dressing.
Well, no, it's so funny because that like initial beat, we both have a look of horror because we're like, oh, who are we seeing?
I was also embarrassed because I was half dressed and I was like this, but there are some.
But then we start laughing.
But we were in hysterics. But there are some people who are naked people who don't care.
Yes.
They walk around in front of you. You're like,
I am not that person.
I wouldn't. I mean, Joel's gonna think I'm great, but I still don't enjoy changing complete. I just don't. I know it's weird.
Can I tell you the weirdest thing is that you used to work out in a different gym. This was like 10 years ago now when I was an intern, and I had this flashback of a moment because I recognized you because I liked your pants. You were changing in the locker room, and I remember being like, oh, I like that woman's pants, and then I go to get coffee and I see the pants and it's you. So I have a habit of seeing you change, apparently.
So weird.
Is what I learned from that.
But it is, there are definitely two different types of people, and I always kind of admire people who don't care.
Me too.
Because it must
they
mean
never had body image issues.
And they're confident.
Really
right. I mean, I know. Well, that was an interesting conversation. That's it for this episode of Today Talks. Keep watching if you want for more Today All Day.
Why wouldn't you?
Because, I don't know, maybe they have other things to do.
Maybe you don't want to hear about pants and pantless. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.